The Microsoft 365 Insight module from Netreo gives you end-to-end visibility into the health and performance of your Microsoft 365 tenant. To access the main dashboard of the module, click on the Quick Views menu in the top left of the Netreo console and come down to Microsoft 365 Insight. Along the top of the dashboard, you'll see breakouts for Exchange, OneDrive, SharePoint, Skype, Teams, and Yammer. The top section of this display provides three types of information. First, status is reported by the Microsoft Service Communication API. Any API response that does not match a value of service operational will yield a critical alarm and generate an incident in Netreo. Second, the peak latency for logging into a service from your Netreo deployment. Unlike a simple call to a Microsoft API endpoint, this value displays the longest amount of time in the last 24 hours it's taken for the service to respond when provided credentials for a legitimate user account. The overall idea here is that you can be notified proactively if your user community cannot access a Microsoft service. Third is a designator to let you know if an established threshold has been exceeded with respect to response time for this service. When a Microsoft 365 Insight threshold is exceeded, the designator will turn red, like all other critical alarms in Netreo, and generate an incident with associated actions. When clicking on the name of the Microsoft service, the dashboard will expand and yield additional details about the service from what's provided in the summary display. In this expanded section, there's a histogram of login response time and details about average and peak latency of pulled values. Like most other variables in Netreo, these response times are pulled at a 5-minute interval. From this view, we can also open a new browser tab, which will display up to 3 years of historical data in real time, as well as export the monitor data to a variety of formats, or toggle a statistical trend line for the data on and off. Additional information you'll find in the expanded details section of a Microsoft service are synthetic transactions. In the case of Exchange, Netreo can be configured to send an email to a mailbox and then log into that mailbox to retrieve the message. The entire transaction is timed, and the metrics are recorded here. Thresholds can be configured on these values to alert you if there are mail flow or performance problems associated with Exchange connectivity. The service details section also includes information about disk space usage for this component of Microsoft 365, as well as users taking advantage of the service. Coming back to the summary screen for your tenant, the module also gives you a view into how the service is being used by your organization. In this first graph, there's a breakdown of the various services that are using storage resources. The rightmost graphic on this summary dashboard is a drill into how various services in the productivity suite are getting used. Active users is the number of users on average over the last 7 days who've logged into your tenant. Monitoring your storage and licensing usage in this manner allows you to right-size your service contracts and tightly control your operating expenses. We'd love to give you a tour of Microsoft 365 Insight and show you how it can help drive efficiency within your IT operational processes, assist in managing your IT spend, and improve SLA attainment among your users and customer base.